Tolbert with Lianro Metal Roofs, also known as Roof Lady. And in this episode, we're going to discover what homeowners insurance really does and how to best use it when you have a hailstorm. And we've had the lovely Elizabeth Bryson of Bryson's Insurance Agency here today to answer questions. Do you want to say more about you and your agency?
Sure. I'm an independent broker. I've been in the insurance business for 35 years, and my number one priority in my office is to help consumers when they have a hailstorm or any kind of claim, because it's challenging for them. They don't know what to do or what to expect.
Yeah, that's what we find in the roofing side of it, is people just don't know what to expect. And so one of the things that comes up is the deductible issue. So can you explain to us how deductibles are determined and what people should know about deductibles?
Sure. So there's two aspects to that. In a lot of cases, the insurance company does determine the deductible, because a lot of them require a separate deductible for all perils except for wind and hail, and then that's a higher deductible.
Okay.
It could be a percentage deductible, and what a lot of people aren't aware of is that percentage deductible is a percentage of the value of their home, not a percentage of the value of the claim. So if they have a $500,000 home and they have a 1% deductible, that's $5,000.
Right.
Some companies have a 2% deductible, so that's $10,000 out of their pocket, and they aren't aware of that.
Well, and that's something too, and since you're my agent, we talk about this all the time, is to know the value of your home before you sign up for one of those deductibles. Because, you know, now a $600,000 home is almost $1 million in this new market. So.
True, yes, and I've seen those homes and they have a 2% deductible, so that's over $10,000 out of their pocket.
Right. So that kind of brings us to, we were talking before about mistakes that homeowners make when they're purchasing insurance. What would you say the biggest mistake is they make?
And especially as a new homeowner, they've never had a home or a policy before, and they don't understand their coverages. They're just looking for the cheapest coverage, and at the time of a claim, they're not going to be happy with that. They don't understand what their coverage needs to be for their home or for their deductible.
So you just need homeowners to ask more questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not just to match the number that the mortgage company wants them to be at.
Right.
To qualify.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
So just to recap, just real quick. So ask a lot of questions, know the value of your home, and understand that there might be two levels of deductibles, a wind and hail peril, and then like a total loss type of deductible.
Well, for all other perils.
For all of them.
Fire,
okay.
Water damage, things like that. That would be a separate deductible in a lot of cases.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so then, is there an option to lower your deductible if you don't want to pay the 1%, or is that just kind of how it is?
It depends on the company. Some companies that they've went to the 1% deductible and you can't get it any lower than that. So that's a question to ask your agent for sure and see if that's available.
Okay. And a lot of people say, well, do I have to pay my deductible? And, you know, there are some roofing companies out there that say, oh, well, I'll cover your deductible. And I always use the example of like a doctor. Does the doctor ever say when to cover your deductible?
And it's insurance fraud.
Right, okay, that's what I thought.
It is insurance fraud. And you pay your deductible directly to the roofer when the work is done. They might want it up front, or they might want it when the work is done.
Okay.
But your deductible is paid right to the roofing company.
Well, a lot of times we'll see that the deductible's taken off of the adjustment, and so say the claim is $50,000, the $10,000 deductible's taken off right off the top, and then their balance is $40,000.
Right.
Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then the other thing that we get a question about all the time is the actual cash values and the recoverable value. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Sure. And that's one thing to watch out for now too. A lot of companies, if your roof is a certain age, they will only pay you actual cash value. So let's say you have a 30-year roof and it's 15 years old. So about 50% of the life of the roof is gone.
Okay.
You're only gonna get paid 50%, that 50% value of the roof. So that's very important to look at your homeowner's policy every year at renewal to be sure it hasn't changed to actual cash value, because a lot of agents won't inform you of that. They just expect you to read your policy.
Well, the other thing, not to interrupt you, the other thing we've noticed is also the code coverage.
Yes.
Because codes are constantly changing and, you know, we're being more and more regulated. So that would be a good time to ask for that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Code coverage is very important to have. I mean, a perfect example is the roof. They have that new code. Well, it's probably 3 or 4 years old now with the, what's it called for the roofs that they have to have in El Paso County if they're up so high in elevation.
Oh yeah, the ice and water.
Ice and water.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not going to be covered on a typical
Yeah.
policy unless you have code coverage.
Yeah.
But back to what you asked about replacement cost and actual cash value.
Mhm.
So if you do have replacement cost on your roof, and hopefully you do, again, let's say your roof is 30 years old, and it costs $20,000 to replace it. They will give you typically about half of the $20,000 up front, minus your deductible, and then once the work is completed, they'll give you the balance.
So now another question we get is, do they have to use an insurance approved contractor, or are homeowners free to choose who they want to use for their roof?
And that can vary from company to company. I think most companies now will let you choose who you want to use. A lot of them, though, if you use their company, they're going to stand behind it and warranty that work.
Okay.
So that is one benefit to use their company, but you don't have to usually.
And the other question we get a lot is, well, can I change what I have on my roof? And so my answer usually is yes, the insurance will pay you for what you have, but if you want to upgrade, then that's a cost out of pocket.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Does it make sense to combine your homeowners and your auto owners insurance together? Is there any benefit to that?
There is a discount for combining. I would say probably 90 to 95% of the time it makes sense to do that because of the savings.
Okay.
Very rarely does it make sense to not put them together, but if it makes sense to keep them separate, I definitely advise people of that.
I've had some homeowners worry that, oh, I've had hail, and so now I have one insurance company and I have hail on my house and hail on my cars. Does that really make a difference, whether it's one company or two?
No, but there are several companies out there, which is a pretty new feature, that if you have your auto and home with them and they're both damaged by hail, you only pay one deductible.
Oh, wow, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good to know,
Yeah.
especially with rising deductibles.
I know, for sure.
Is there anything else that I should have asked you about insurance claims and homeowner insurance that I didn't?
I can't think of anything right now, but I mean, I'm just going to put a plug for myself.
Yes.
I work with my customers. I was thinking about this morning. I've had several claims for hail, home, and auto.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the customer goes to the carrier prior to speaking to me, when they call me about a claim, I file their claims for them. I stay in touch with them, I follow up with them. I want them to reach out to me if they have any questions. That's what you pay for insurance for.
Absolutely. I am a big proponent of an agent that is involved.
Yeah.
It makes the whole process so much easier.
Yeah, I'm sure it does for you. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I can say from personal experience, she is an awesome agent. She's located in Monument, Colorado, so if you have any insurance needs in the area, be sure to give Elizabeth Bryson a call. And thank you for joining us for this episode. So be sure to metal up with a Lianro roof.